But no, I want to talk about what the hell Samsung has been up to lately. And it's a pretty damn good question, because I think a lot of us are confused of what they're doing. I mean, I've had conversations with a couple friends of mine and a couple other people that, yes, their new phones look good. I won't deny that the design isn't bad. They look good. I saw them in person at the Best Buy mobile store, and I mean, they're solid devices. I can't say anything. I can't say anything wrong about that. But some of the design choices that they made is up. It's up to argument. So let's talk about the biggest thing right now, which is PenGate. Which is, last year, if you guys remember, the iPhone 6 having that bending issue. So Mr. Bendgate, did that, Unbox Therapy guy. And then now they've done the whole with the pen issue, the S Pen. If you put it in backwards, it will break the actual ejecting mechanism, and then your S Pen is essentially useless in the device. And for me, like that issue coming up was a little surprising, just because. I mean, I've had the Note series since the Note 1. I've never had an issue of putting the pen in backwards. Like, I've never put it in backwards. It's like someone went out of the way to kind of prove that it can go in backwards and stuff. If anything, the Note 4 goes in backwards, but it doesn't damage anything, because overall, the overall shape is the same. But I've never personally put it in backwards before. I've never accidentally put it in backwards before. But not to say that it wasn't going to happen, but I thought that after watching it, at first I was like, this is kind of ridiculous. But at the same time, it was a bit of an oversight on Samsung's part, I believe. They really should have done a little bit of extra. They should have done the extra research to make sure that this type of incident, even if it happens, to make sure that it's repairable. So hopefully, for all those people that's happening to, what's it called? They're going to cover it under their warranty, and I think they've actually put disclosures out there on the devices not to do that. But knowing people, no one ever reads the materials. So if anything, the materials are out there to pretty much CYA Samsung. They're just covering themselves. So it's a little sad. But this is just one of the small things that I thought that they overlooked. So for me, guys, it's not really a big deal because it's really never affected me. But for new Note users that are coming off of other Android phones, or especially Apple, to be honest, I don't think they're gonna, like, for me, in my mind, you wouldn't put the pen in backwards, but who the hell knows how these people are going to use it. But it could be a deterring factor. I thought this could have been avoided, but that's just on their end. But speaking of design choices, though, the subscriber, Jesus Melendez, that visited me over the weekend, he pointed out that he had an official little back cover piece. Oh, there he is. Hey, by the way, yeah, there you go. He actually just joined the podcast. Hey, Jesus, I'm talking about you right now. And Catherine, hello. Jesus and his children came to visit my store, and they spent a good day here. But he showed me something on his phone that was very interesting to me. So for those of you who are watching the video version of my podcast can see this, he had another removable back that you could put on your current Note 4 that had the built-in wireless charging platform in it. And the thing is, when I looked at it, the phone is actually wired for it. So if you actually look at the back of the Note 4, there's actually these little exposed connector pieces all over the device in the back here. And the thing is, his removable back, which is official from Samsung, had those connector pieces in it. So yes, the removable back was a little bit thicker than the normal backing on the Note 5S, but it wasn't too much thicker. And as soon as you put it on, it could detect that it had a wireless charging the pad adapter, and you could use it with a wireless charge pad. And I did not know that this existed. I did not know this existed at all. So that was another example of like them throwing me off guard. If you had this technology, if you had this as a customizable option, why haven't you advertised it? It's like everything that they talked about during the press conference for the Note 5, they talked about 4K videos being a brand new function. It wasn't. It existed for the Note 4. You could you could record 4K on the Note 4. They're acting like it's new. The wireless charging, they made it a permanent function on it when they could have made it another optional. Because I talked about this before, where a lot of people, and Jesus was a perfect example, he actually carries around 2 batteries because he must use the phone very heavily, and it's a lot more convenient for him just to pop out a second battery, pop open the back, put another one in, and cover it back up again. And a lot of people use this function. And the thing is, like, just to take that away from the customers that got used to doing that was kind of backwards thinking, in my opinion. And I mean, they could have done the same thing with that they did with the Note 4 with the Note 5. They could have kept the removable bag, but offered the wireless charging as an option. I mean, in my opinion, that's another way to keep the costs down. I mean, people brought up to me, I mean, I know I'm going to go back and forth on this I'm going to go all around with Samsung a bit, but a couple of people brought up to me that because the material costs went up, because they're putting a glass back, they're putting a metal frame on it, because of all this, they can justify raising the price. I mean, that's not necessarily the case, folks. I mean, these companies are going out there and making sure. I mean, look at the Apple. Look at the iPhone, guys. Yes, they go flaunting around that they have like the most epic steel, you know, that's forged in like the Mount Fuji or something, and that it's so strong, and because of the manufacturing process, it's so expensive. Give me a break, guys. They make all those metal frames for pennies, and they're charging you several $700 more for it. I mean, the Apple Watch is a perfect example. The amount of tech that's in there is not even worth $300, and yet they're charging you $600. So you're telling me they're going to charge you another $300-400 for a metal casing, for an aluminum casing? Like, that is just ridiculous. That they're literally just milking you at this point. You know, and Samsung's starting to do the same thing. It's like you got rid of functionality and you added a nice back, so it's the same price. Performance-wise, it's not that much more stronger than the Note 4 was. It's literally the S6 with a bigger screen and an S Pen. What has happened? And seriously, as my title suggests, what the hell is Samsung doing? And a lot of people argued with me about this. Like a lot of people brought up a lot of valid points on the comment boards, and I respect every single one of them. But you guys have to realize the last few years, especially the last 4 years, from the Note 1 to Note 4, it's always been, there was the S3, then the Note 1 that not only had a bigger screen and the S Pen with better functionality, but it was stronger as well, so it can handle the multitasking. Then came the S4. It was a modest upgrade, got a little bit thicker for my liking, improved performance. Then the Note 2 came out. The thing was a freaking beast. And the same thing happened when the S5. The S5 was like, eh. Then the Note 3 came out and was like, holy crap, this is awesome. I think I'm a little bit behind on my times here. And I think it was the S2, then Note 1, S3, then Note 2, then S4, then the Note 3. So I mean, whichever the case, it was always that the S lines were separate from the Note lines. And this year, we just saw a blending of the two. You know, and I'm a little bit disappointed on that, because I thought they were going to, if anything, I would have been okay with the new design choices. I think a lot of you agreed with me on the fact that they should have just made the S6 Edge Plus, a little nod to Apple, idiot. That's such a stupid name, by the way. But they should have just made the S6 Edge Plus the Note 5 Edge. What was so difficult about that? Why couldn't they just make that the Note Edge and give it the S Pen ability? The fact that now you have to choose. Like, I personally wanted the Edge display with the S Pen functionality. I really wanted that. But the oversight in this company is starting to get a little bit borderline ridiculous now. And I mean, glass, come on, guys. Like, for me, I think every person that got the Note device, I mean, what's so stupid is, actually, sorry, I need to bring this point up. Someone pointed out to me that these new devices are now being praised. The new S6 device and these new S devices are being praised by all the tech reviewer communities out there. Now everyone who was pretty much paid off by Apple and loved Apple devices are now approving of this phone, of the Samsung phones, because they've upgraded the materials. Now the phone feels very premium. And that's all they talk about. They're not even talking about the performance aspects of it. Yes, I know they do comparison videos here and there, but in general, I don't know. It's because when I read these articles, they're always just talking about design, materials, and some performance, and about the camera. And they don't ever talk about value anymore these days. And I guess this is where technology is going, where it's going to be all about the design and the materials, and it's not going to be about the value and functionality anymore. And I'm a little bit disappointed in that. And I mean, deep inside, I'm hoping that Samsung is just treating the Note 5 like they did the S5. It was a nice transitional phone into like a more epic design later on. So I'm hoping that the Note 6 next year does something different. Just in general, Samsung, I'm very worried about them. We'll see what they do with the new Gear S. The new Gear S2. Apparently, they have two models. A lot of you guys have actually sent me links about they actually patented two designs. So I am hoping that they release two designs, because I don't want that circle. I want the nice flat. If anything, the preview image that I saw, the new Gear S2 is a bit slimmer than this one, and it has a much stronger band material. So fingers crossed. I hope they bring that out, and that they actually continue the Gear VR line and just continue to improve it. Because I may not be happy with the Note 5, but if I get the functionality, if I get better functionality of the new Gear S, as well as the Gear VR, I may just upgrade to it. So once again, I have not made a complete decision, but I'm waiting to see what everyone else has to say, especially Apple.